Welcome to week 6 of the Sun series. I hope you had a great spring break last week and got refreshed a little bit. And I hope you're ready to dive back in this week as we study the life of Jesus and learn how we can become more like him. Just as a reminder, we're going through the book of Mark, and we're looking at those passages where Jesus is referred to as the Son of God, the Son of the Most High God, the Son of David, the Son of Man. We're taking these passages and really digging into them to find out about the character and about the deeds of Christ, so we can learn how we can become more and more like him. Before we get into this week's topic, I want you to reach back a little bit with me to when you were a kid or maybe in high school. Maybe you're not even familiar with the concept, but the idea of opposite day. Now, opposite day, the whole premise of it, it's kind of childish, but the whole premise is everything that is said means the opposite of what is said. So if I come up to you and I say, "Wow, you look ugly," what I really mean is, "You look great." Or if I say, "Wow, I'm really cool," I may really mean, "Hey, I'm being a dork." You get the concept. Now, the whole reason I bring this up is because this week we're looking at the idea of service. And when we examine this idea, what we find out is that the kingdom of God is almost like opposite day with the world all the time. The kingdom of God works completely different from the way the world works. And so this week we're looking at a period in the book of Mark where Jesus is starting to head towards Jerusalem, and he's starting to tell his disciples that he is going to die. He's going to have to suffer and die. And this is his act of service, going to the cross to die. But his disciples don't really understand. And so 3 times Jesus tells them he's going to be betrayed, he's going to suffer, and he's going to die. And all 3 times he has to rein in his disciples because they're not really understanding this idea of service. And so as we look at those passages, we catch a few ideas of what it means to serve. And the basic gist of everything is that service means considering yourself lower than other people. It's not really about the act that you're doing, although a lot of service requires, acts to be done. But it's more about the mindset. It's more about where your heart's at. Do you truly consider yourself to be lower than everybody else, to be a servant, and not to be better than them, to ask them to serve you? And this is the whole idea of what Jesus was trying to get across as he was saying, I am going to suffer and I'm going to die. You are my disciples and you're following me. You need to learn that I am doing this as an act of service. I'm not considering myself better than any human being. In fact, I'm going to die for the betterment of all of humanity. And so as we really dig into that concept of service, we have to look at what Jesus was going to do on the cross. We have to look at the idea he was trying to spread to us and realize that we are no better than any other human being. Not only are we no better, but perhaps we should even make ourselves out to be the servant of all. He uses these words several times in these passages where he says the first would be last, and the last will be first. And it's this whole idea that if you want to be great in the kingdom of God, then on earth, you need to make yourself lower than everybody. You need to serve everyone. You need to be a slave. And he uses that word, slave. And I just find that so interesting because slaves' whole lives are devoted to serving others. That is who they are. That's what they do. And so Jesus was trying to teach us that living in the world for him is like living out opposite day every day. Everything we do is opposite from the way that the world works. Think about that this week as you study this lesson and really dig into this. Really grasp the idea that you have to be a servant. You can't do service. You have to be a servant in order to serve. Hope you have a great week and really enjoy this discussion with your group this week and find out how you can take this a step further and be a servant to the world. Thanks for watching this. Have a great week.